Hello, hello. Let's get this thing going then. Alright, so uh, I don't know if you guys are super familiar with AWS in general, but it is, something uh, that deserves attention, in my opinion, just because a lot of companies, have moved to the cloud or is going to be moving to the cloud essentially. And the attack surface is like absolutely monumental. When you look at like the full list of services that AWS applies, there's a bunch of different storage types. There's a bunch of ways of doing security, managing identity, and everything. They have some fucking satellite offerings, some quantum shit, and then obviously there's the computing. They offer like a few different types of computing, some of them being like end user computing. So this is going to be cloud workstations from which you can work on. But they also obviously have the kind of more generic EC2 instances that are just meant to run your applications. And even just to run applications, there's a bunch of different ways, right? You can use App Runner, you can use EC2s to host the application on an actual like VM. You can have Lambda, which is essentially just what's the right word? Essentially cloud functions that you're going to be running and that they're going to be invoked when called rather than hosting an entire OS. You have AWS Outposts. There's like a bunch of stuff. And some of the things that are interesting is that, hey Fedbot, is that identity is fairly complex within AWS. So if we go and look at IAM, which is the Identity Access Management within AWS, if we go and look, for example, so there's the concept of groups, users, roles, policies, and identity providers. So putting it simply, an identity provider is going to be, for example, an IDP or something that will federate the SSO onto your account. If we look at policies, this is exactly where we define who can access what. It's all defined as JSON, at least from our perspective as users. And then there's roles. So these are the actual roles that you can impersonate. So that if you needed to access something, then you might just request a read role. If you need to go and modify some assets, you might need to request admin access. There's a bunch of different roles which we can define there. There's also some pre-existing roles that are created by AWS itself. We have users, user groups. In our case, well, in my specific case, since we're so federated, this is always 0. I essentially just use the administrator access role that I have for my specific account. And I'm kind of rambling on roles here. This is not like an IM session, just to kind of reassure you guys. We will be looking at Sagemaker and kind of how we can abuse it, but to understand how we can potentially abuse it, we need to understand how access management works. So what I wanted to touch on first is, and let me see if I can't, let's take a look at Sagemaker. So whenever you are first going to configure Sagemaker, it's going to like bring up a prompt to you that's going to tell you, oh, well, we have to, create this or that role, we have to attach it to a VPC. There's kind of some connectivity stuff that will get done for you. But the important part about this is that whenever you're going to be using Sagemaker for the first time, it is going to create a role that it will leverage, which has quite a few permissions. And this is important to know because when you will be using Sagemaker, the events that will be sent to the SIM afterwards or through the logs, through CloudTrail or whatever you prefer doing, are essentially going to show up as Sagemaker, and I will show this to you guys shortly after. So let's just quickly review the policy on that. So let me just copy all of this. Let's open up VS Code real quick. And we will look at it in VS Code just because it's going to make our lives a bit easier. So let's do this. All right, so we already see we have a bunch of statements. So as I mentioned, we can have policies. So a statement can contain multiple policies, or rather a policy can contain multiple statements. So in this case, the first thing that we see is that out of the box, SageMaker grants itself access to everything that touches CloudWatch, everything that touches AWS Glue, everything that touches the logs realm. So within AWS IAM, you always have the kind of service and then the specific permission within that service. We have Redshift, we have S3, which is super interesting, this one, because we are just granting essentially full access to AWS, to S3, to SageMaker. And finally S3 tables. So on top of that, we also grant compute access to a bunch of shit. We grant access to CloudFormation stacks, so we can deploy some stuff from CloudFormation directly through SageMaker. We can do a bunch of stuff with Glue. What else do we see? We can create some service linked roles. I'm not sure what this is. I'd have to look a bit more into it. Another thing is that we can also pass roles to SageMaker here, which is interesting. So we could arguably impersonate one of those services. What else? We can pass just about any role that contains SageMaker in its name. We can, this one is kind of nasty. So we can create any role that that starts with Amazon SageMaker star. So this, for example, could potentially be used to set up a malicious, like a kind of backdoor, a malicious profile that we would then pivot to. We can attach a bunch of policies. What else do we see? We can delete parameter, get parameter, put parameter on the SSM. So the SSM is your parameter store, which can contain keys and things like that. Some people store secrets in there just because it's way cheaper to store stuff in SSM than in Secrets Manager, which is dedicated for that. And some secrets are more sensitive than others, so sometimes it can make sense to store them there to save a few bucks. What else? We have manage private secrets within Secrets Manager, which we just talked about. So we have a bunch of stuff, but another interesting thing is that on some resources, we also put a condition where I'm trying to find one where this is going to work. Let's do Control F3. What else do we see? I just want to make sure I'm not mistaken. Alright, so it was kind of interesting because for some roles, they were essentially only giving access to S3 if it contained a very specific tag which relates to SageMaker. So we can see we can do like quite a bit of stuff within AWS. So we have this fancy pants policy. Now if we go back and directly into SageMaker, we will see that it essentially SageMaker can be kind of compared to a Jupyter notebook. So let's open it real quick. I see a few more people have joined, so welcome. Alright, so there's a few things we can look at. The first interesting one, in my opinion, will probably be something like I'm kind of fucking around with you guys at the same time, so we'll figure it out as we go. So let's just open a notebook. If you guys have like any questions, don't be shy. I'm super responsive. All right, so we have our SageMaker notebook right here. Let's just let it load. Let's remove all of the bullshit because we really don't care about all of that. Oh my god, how many of them is there? Brother, can I just like spin up a new notebook? There we go. So let's create a new notebook. Can I rename it? Okay, so we have some agent stuff. So the first thing I want to do is just check in which context I'm currently running. Let me just open up the Bato 3 doc at the same time because I can absolutely never remember anything when it comes to Python. So let's do Bato 3 doc. Is that the documentation we want? Let's do using Bato 3. Alright, yeah, okay, so it's just like this, and then let's try and do, what's the error there? Bato 3 imported but not used, sure. So let's try and do a STS color get identity. STS get color. It's probably gonna be somewhere in there. Get color identity. Sweet, so we have to define a client first. Can we access the client documentation? Ooh. Hold up. Let's be a bit lazy and do address Bato 3 STS get color identity. Oh, okay, so we just called Bato directly. So let's do Bato 3 dot client. That's kind of weird. Okay, so we initialize like a STS specific client. I wonder if there's a way to just like instantiate the generic client. Guess I really do have to pass a service name. Okay, well. So it's just going to be Bato 3 dot client. Let's just go and look at the documentation for this one. So what's it whining about here? No new line at the end of October. Leave me alone, will you? Let's close the AI shit. Alright, so we can specify the region name. Okay, so the service name is not optional. Alright, so let's just do a quick STS, and then let's do print STS dot. What's it gonna be? STS client get color identity. Color identity. I'm kind of weirded out that it's not resolving. Let's try running it and we'll see. Oh yeah. And how do we JSON? I really don't write enough Python. Just JSON dumps. Can maybe zoom in a bit for you guys. STS get color identity, and let's just do a so I'm guessing this is going to be JSON. What does it return? Control, and let's just do print pretty row. Ugh, okay, so it's still not. Why does it look so fucking ugly? Oh, because I'm not indenting. Oh yeah, okay. So we have this user ID, which is fine. We have our account, we have our ARN. So in this case, we see that we are running within the context of Amazon SageMaker admin IAM execution role. So we will want to take note of this. And let's go into IAM in the meantime and go check the permissions of that role to see exactly what we're gonna have access to. Let's copy. Is it gonna be the same policy I just had earlier? Oh shit, okay. Yeah, so it is way more open than I thought it was. I was kind of hoping they were gonna be doing some like tagging conditions where they say, well, you can access stuff that relates to Sagemaker but nothing else and shit like that. Jesus Christ. As much as I like AWS, this is kind of fucked up. We can even create roles on resources. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, you can attach policies to them. Alright, so let's start by fucking around a bit. Let me open right off the bat doing malicious shit, you know, within the context of Sagemaker will kind of screw with defenders if you're not ready to handle that. So from there, we, you know, most likely want to start experimenting a bit. So we saw that we had access to S3. So we can go and check. Let's try to find a bucket we could potentially enumerate. So this is all bogus information I created for my previous blog post. So let's take the ARN of this bad boy. So we will want this. We will want this. And let's just do AWS S3 list objects and bucket and protocol. So we are probably gonna have to change our client. So let's call it S3 client. Let's do response. Let's just come on, buddy boy, give me some completion. And let's give it the. So it's going to be. Do we have it here? Does the completion just always break on this thing? That's crazy. So let's do bucket equals. What was our bucket name again? Acme Corp brought ALB log US East 1. Alright, let's try rerunning that. It's just branch response. Okay, interesting. So we can already list a bunch of stuff, which kind of confirms what we saw. So let's try to pre-print this. Let's do json.dumps. And then let's just re-import JSON. Oops. Is it just dump? There. What's the issue here? Oh, right. So we're gonna want to do response dot. What kind of fields do we have available to us? Okay, it's a custom object. What does this object v2 return? Do we not have like? Alright, so let's figure it out with Google. What do we see here? What is the... Come on, I just want the fucking return value. Response syntax. Okay, so it returns a dict with some contents. which I guess is what we want. Just do yeah, let's just start with this. Alright, so we have some stuff here. Can we just like fucking pretty print this? Is it dumps or dump? I always confuse both. So let's do this and let's do this. So John in IRCC asked, what browser do you use? So this is just Chrome. They like introduced this sidebar thingy like not too long ago, and I'm not even sure how I enabled it, but it's there and I've kind of went along with it. What's the fucking issue here? Bro, what is your problem? Object of type daytime is not. Oh, come on, bro. Ah, fuck it. So what else do we have in there? So let's just do let's do object. Let's do object in response contents. Let's do this, and then let's do what can we get from it? I guess we probably just want the key, right? So let's do S3 object key. Let's not get too fancy with our code here. Alright, so we have all of our objects which check out. So this is interesting, right? Because we do confirm that we have full access to S3 regardless of if there's some tags or not or whatever. So this is kind of sketchy, not gonna lie. Alright, so let's keep digging. So we know we have access to S3. I'm wondering if we couldn't do a SSC but do a 3. Let's see if we can pull this off. Then SSC customer key. How do we provide the key? Ooh. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we just gotta provide the SSC customer key and then the SSC customer algo, and then it's going to do the freaking encryption for us. Alright, so before we dive into this, let's talk about SSCC and how it is the plague of the world. Let's do SSCC ransomware. So let's open this bad boy and then let's open this bad boy. Sweet, so our good friends at Arctic Wolf have made a shitty blog post that is not super helpful about Halcyon. Not much info either, eh? What is wrong with those companies? I think it's Rhino Lab that initially published the let's start this one. I guess obtain valid credential, blah blah blah. Reconnaissance with regards. So do we do list buckets, list objects? There's a slight difference between the which requires. There's a slight difference between the AWS and Halcyon report on what actions are taken. Okay, so that's talking about a very specific attack. Halcyon reports get object put object, which is fine. AWS reports a large number of copy object. Yes, because this is the smart option. Alright, so let's talk cloud ransomware for a second. So whenever you are wanting to ransom some files within S3, And let's open S3 as a visual. So within S3, you have the concept of a bucket, which is really just a kind of storage place essentially for all of your stuff. And let me just check on the chat real quick. Yes, so in S3 there's a concept of buckets, and essentially buckets are just storage places for your actual objects. So for example, this bucket contains a bunch of objects. In this case, you can also have folders. They're not exactly folders the way we think they are, but they still act as folders. So we have the folder called backups, and we have some backups of DynamoDB, Acme events. Let's just find one. And then we have our actual file, right? So if we go and look at the properties of that file, what we are going to see is a few things. So we get, some information about the size, the S3 URI, so the URI you can use to access that file. What else do we have? We have the exact key that points to that file, which is similar to the URI. And then we have the server-side encryption settings. So a kind of common practice in AWS, and something that you guys should be doing if you aren't already, is enabling server-side encryption. So this will essentially enable encryption at rest for your data within the AWS server. Some folks will argue it's useless because you still need access to AWS to kind of get the content and everything. Compliance things. So in this case, we are using a AWS managed key for that object. So right here we see server-side encryption with AWS Key Management Service Key, so SSE KMS. But there are other types of encryptions. So if we click on Edit, we see that there is a few of them. So if you are going to use KMS, well, you can choose from your own KMS key. In this case, I only have one, but we could have multiple. We can also use server-side encryption with Amazon S3 managed key, so SSE S3. And finally, we can have dual layer server-side encryption, which is just fancier shit, DSSE KMS. But there is also a fourth option that is still supported to this day, unless I'm mistaken. And let's go and check the statement that AWS put out. So preventing unintended encryption of Amazon S3 objects. So it's kind of a funny way to put it, but unintended encryption potentially means ransomware. It's just, an unexpected encryption audit. So in short, they are essentially disabling SSEC, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look at this. So this is not the blog post I was looking for. Let's see. I know they recently made a statement where they said they were going to disable it. There we go, the advanced notice. So Amazon S3 to disable the use of SSEC encryption by default for all new buckets and select existing buckets in April 2026. So starting on April 6, 2026, we'll be changing how server-side encryption with customer provided key, SSEC, that we were just talking about, works. So they're essentially just gonna nerf it because it is super easy to ransom the fuck out of you without leaving any trace using that, and we'll go into that shortly. Let me just check when I created that bucket to see if it's going to be good for us or not. When did I create this damn thing? April 4th. Hell yeah, so we just made the cutoff. So let's start by testing if we can even use SSEC in the first place by encrypting a single file. So let's go and get this bad boy. Let's try to find like a manifest, some form of like readable data. What do we have? Static assets maybe? Yeah, let's do like a JS file that should be readable. What do we have in there? Okay, so we see at least the header is going to be useful. So if we see this header get mangled, we will know that we will have successfully encrypted the file. Alright, so let's not save this. Let's go and get our file key. So we will need our bucket right here. Let's go and get this one. We will want to do a get object. Is it going to be like a copy? How's that going to be called? Copy object. So let's go and check the Botocore documentation on copy object. Okay, so we should be able to just call copy object. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So let's try and do a copy object. And what arguments do we, well, what parameters do we need to give it? Okay, so we have to specify the bucket, which is good. What else do we want? We will want to set our SSC key, obviously. So let's do SSC customer algorithm. It's going to be equal to, let's do AES 256 SSC customer key. Let's do RCC rocks. And where do we specify the asset? Okay, key, sorry. So it should just be something like key equals, and then it's going to get our object key. Alright, so is this going to work? And then what does it return? It's just going to return a generic response, so let's just do this. Is that shitting the bed? Parameter validation, missing required parameters and import copy source. Let's do copy source. Okay, so what is copy source expecting from us? Required the name of the source bucket, key name, and optional version ID of the source object. Okay, we can get all of that. So let's do copy source, and it's going to be an object, so let's just go and define it as bucket. It's going to be something like this, right? What else do we have? We need the key. Do this. What else do we need? We need the version ID. Going to be that should work. What's the issue with that? Missing weight, bruh. Come on, fuck off with that. And the version ID. So obviously, normally we would just get this. We would be getting all of this, you know, a kind of better way, a smarter way, but we are just experimenting here, so We will keep it simple. What do we get now? What is missing this time? We are missing the parameter and input, which is called key. Must have removed it. Let's do key equals this. What are we missing now? Valid argument. The secret key was invalid for the specified algorithm. Alright, so I guess let's go and check what it expects as a customer key. Specifies the customer provided encryption key. The value is used to store the object and then it's discarded. And the key must be appropriate for use with the algorithm. Header. Okay, that isn't super helpful. Let's go and check for an example. Why isn't that working? It's the expected type for that. String, so I guess that should be working. Okay, I guess we can just try that. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, bro, come on. Okay, sweet. So we have a copy object. Let's go and check. Has our file been modified at all? Let's refresh this. Hell yes, we have a new version, and has it been encrypted? We start using a form of server-side encryption, the correct parameters to retrieve the object. Hell yeah. Alright, so let's go and fetch the let's try and fetch the object programmatically. So let's just comment this out. Let's remove this bad boy, and I'm kind of fucking stupid because I lost the key to that file, so I guess we have lost it. So RIP to that file. Let's reuse our S3 client here. Oh, sorry, we already have it, so let's do S3 client. What's it gonna be? We have like get object. Let's do get object. And what's it expecting? Doesn't give us much. So we need the bucket. We need the key. Do we need anything else? I don't think so, and then we can just print a response. Sweet. The object was stored using a form of server-side encryption. The correct parameters must be provided. Sweet, so this is pretty interesting. So at this point, we have essentially ransomed the file using a key that the victim in this case wouldn't have access to, and they can't even retrieve the file anymore without the SEC key. And I have lost it myself, so I'm kind of fucked on that front. So let's try redoing this whole dance, but with a key that is known this time. So let's do. I'm still kind of stumped at why it didn't like accept my string. Let's do yes 256. Oh right, because it needs. Oh, I'm stupid. Because it needs 32 characters, right? So let's do random word right there. Can I specify like the length? Let's just do so that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This should work. And let's try picking another file that is valid and that I have not accidentally encrypted and lost the key to. So let's do this key. So this works. Or at least should. Invalid request. No such version because I'm still. Am I specifying? Oh yeah, I'm still specifying a version. So we have this version, which is the brand new one. Can I not copy it? Okay, sweet. So at this point we have encrypted it. Let's try fetching it without the key. And let's just make sure that we have indeed a new version on that file. Sweet, so we do. And we are technically unable to download this because we no longer have the key. Sweet, so now we can just retrieve. So if we do a get object, it should fail. Yeah, and it does. But if we go and provide the SSC key and SSC customer key, encryption key, and then if we specify the algo, customer algorithm, and it's going to be AES 256. So this should work. Okay, let's just run it. Specifying server-side encryption with customer provided key must provide the correct secret key. Oops. Should be the right key. Why can we not decrypt the file that we have ransomed? Do we have any theories on this chat? So we can try specifying a version ID. And let's look. Oh, okay. So what is the MD5 of this string? So what's it going to be called? Oh yeah, it probably just computes it for us. So let's try specifying the version ID, just in case. that gonna work? No such version. Brother. Oh, I'm still fetching the old file, sorry. No, I think that's the right one. Hold on. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm trying to read the wrong file. Let's remove this. Let's try again. Hey, there we go. So we have now successfully decrypted the file. So this is good. We can now officially ransom the bucket. This will most definitely result in some data events being generated. But as I kind of blabbered on in my blog post, let's look at it real quick. So I touched a bit on the fact that S3 data events are super fucking expensive, especially if you're a kind of SaaS or like a fully cloud hosted company that has a fuck ton of buckets and everything. So I think I ran the numbers somewhere in there, and it was like an ungodly amount of cash, something like, you know, it would cost us like 30 grand a month just to be able to know exactly who reads our buckets and who doesn't, which to an extent we kind of, you know, it's not priority number one. I would definitely recommend monitoring your like IAM roles and users and shit like that before that. So yeah, so your get object will not generate management events, which are most of what people look at. I will drop this casually, but like CrowdStrike, for example, when we evaluate not monitoring data events at all, and they were only monitoring a part of management events, not all of them, meaning they would like miss a bunch of stuff. And when we reached out to ask them like, hey, what's going on with that, they essentially just told us, it's expensive, people probably won't care about it, which is absolutely insane considering they were missing a fuck ton of super important events. So yeah, throwing some CrowdStrike shade. I do love those guys. Alright, so how are we doing, chat? Am I being too rambly? Are you guys kind of following with me on where we're going here? I'll take a sip of water in the meantime. Clown stroke shade, yes sir. What's Discord looking like? Sweet. Alright, so we have confirmed at this point that we can successfully encrypt a file, meaning we can successfully encrypt an entire bucket, meaning we can successfully execute ransomware. So this is one interesting aspect of it. Now, if we look back at the permissions we had, let me just close this and reopen the IAM stuff we had open. Let's go and check on our role. So what else can we do with all of that sweet, sweet, juicy data? Alright, so at this point we have abused S3, or at least we can abuse S3. We can emit actions on CloudWatch, meaning not CloudTrail. What else can we fuck with? Ooh, we can access Amazon Q. We can access Bedrock, which is fine. What can we fuck with? That's gonna be interesting. I'm not sure exactly what logs is, because it's definitely not CloudTrail. Let's do AWS. Let's do like logs. Okay, so it's CloudWatch logs. Because there is a distinction between CloudTrail, which is going to be like your management events and shit like that, and then CloudWatch, which is kind of like a sim, I guess. It's a platform in which you can, read logs that you decide to send to Amazon. So it can be service logs, application logs, whatever you want to call it. So this one we kind of don't care about for now. What else do we have we could abuse? So we have CloudFormation here, which is somewhat restricted. So we won't look at this one too much just yet. We have Glue, which is interesting, but it has quite a few restrictions. What else? We can get role, this role, get user, this user, assume role. Ooh, we can assume role. That's interesting. On everything. Hey Josh, how's it going, man? So what else do we have here? So for context, for those who just joined, we have successfully demonstrated that we can ransomware a S3 bucket leveraging SSEC, which is now going to be deprecated by AWS for newer buckets. So essentially any bucket created after April 6th, 2026, you won't be able to use a CC against it. But for all buckets created before that, which is still a fuck ton of buckets, especially for literally any existing company, you can use this to encrypt. And the kind of interesting aspect of SSEC is that normally if you're going to use KMS or something like that, you have to store the key within AWS itself. So you're going to be generating some traces of like you creating the key and kind of fucking around with it to be able to prevent the victim from accessing the key and just decrypting shit themselves. There is SSEC that works, which allows us to encrypt the objects within the bucket without ever storing the key anywhere on the victim infrastructure. So we can just give it a key in kind of plain text in the parameter and just encrypt the living shit out of it and kind of move along from there. Josh asked, did they sunset it from your blog? Sadly, no, they sunset it actually just before my blog, which was funny. I'm guessing they started seeing enough attacks leveraging that, because when I was doing the research for my initial blog post, there really isn't a lot of people talking about SSEC. The only big ones were like Rhino Labs, which kind of initially disclosed this. And since then, the security companies have just kind of been chewing the same article over and over again without providing any further research. So it kind of flew under the radar, but I'm guessing it's been bad enough where AWS just had to do something. I know Arctic Wolf reported on attacks leveraging that, so I'm guessing it made enough noise for someone that's important enough to AWS to get mad. So we had that, and essentially what I was looking into was pivoting to something else, perhaps persistence. So if we go and look at the IAM stuff, what exactly do we have? So we can tag roles and session that are related to Amazon Data Zone. We can pass role, which is interesting. What else do we have? We have allow on essentially full read of all roles. We can tag roles, we can pass roles, we can create role. So any role that will end in that would start with Amazon SageMaker star, we can do. And then okay, interesting. So we can create new roles, but we can only attach policies on them. That is one of those three. So we could arguably not just create a kind of shitty policy that gives a star on absolutely everything and then attach it to SageMaker. How could we work with that? So we have, okay, interesting. So we have IAM permissive execution policy and IAM default execution policy. I guess we could potentially look at what permissive execution policy looks like. Okay, so that's admin IAM execution role. Let's go and look what was our role again. Let's go and check that real quick. Let's do this. Just comment this stuff out. Let's do STS client. And then here role STS client get color identity. I guess it should be something like that. Let's call that response. Alright, so we have Amazon SageMaker admin IAM execution role. Interesting. I do wonder what the difference is with like permissive and so let's go and look it up. Because admin feels like it should be the kind of widest one. So let's go and check the other roles. Interesting. Ooh. No, right, because it's a policy. Hold up. Okay, so it's pretty similar to what we currently have. Let's just go and check, just to make sure it's the same. And let's just go check IAM. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Interesting. Okay, so at least they were smart about how they, you know, potentially allow us to create new roles and stuff like that. Let's go and read on pass role a bit. I'm kind of curious to better understand it. To confirm, no, you must pass an IAM role. Just fine. This allows the service to assume the role later and perform actions on your behalf. Okay. And can we pass just about any role? Oops. What was our policy looking like? Okay, so we could create a new yeah, let me invoke the font size a bit. Increase the font size, sorry. So if we look at pass role here, we can pass any role that starts with Amazon SageMaker, meaning we already know we can also create new roles. So if we create a role that starts with Amazon SageMaker, we will be able to pass it to other services, but we won't be able to pass it to itself, which is kind of annoying. What else can we do? So you have pass role here. You have attach role policy, as we mentioned earlier. IMSTS. That's kind of a bummer. Well, it's good for defense, bad for offense. Okay, so we can pass role on our own account. Okay, interesting. So we can pass any role to any of those services. So that works in our favor. I wonder if, because the IAM role for SageMaker is already like fairly powerful. We just have like star on a bunch of shit. I'm wondering if we couldn't set up persistence by creating a we better off with the Lambda. What I'm thinking about is let's graph this out a bit. Alright, so we are currently in the context of Sagemaker, right? Let's make this a bit nicer. Let's make that. So let's do Sagemaker us. Now, let's make this a bit bigger. Alright, so there is us right now. And what we can do is, we can do a pass roll. Let's just type everything out. This is going to be helpful. We can create some policies, and we'll take note of the caveats right after. So we can create policy. Can we create policy actually? Let's go and check. So we can attach policy. Can we create a policy? We cannot create, no, we can't create a policy. Okay, so we have to leverage an existing policy that is one of those three. So let's do permissive execution policy, just because it seems like it's the widest of them all. So let's take note of this. So we can do attach policy on this. This kind of looks like shit, but it'll do for now. And then we have access to. Do we have access to Lambda? We do not have access to Lambda. So what kind of persistence could we set? There's glue, which could be interesting. I guess we could spin up an EC2 instance. Can also create some glue sessions. Let's go through the entire thing real quick. We have access to SSM, information, shared secrets. We have access to ECR, which is good to know. What else do we have access to? Airflow serverless. What is Airflow serverless? Maybe you can use that as persistence. That's kind of interesting. So we can modify security groups. So we can authorize ingress or egress, which is interesting. So if we like spin up an EC2 instance, maybe we can fuck shit up a bit. We also have access to modify any network interface. We can create SSO applications. Maybe we could do something fucked up with the SSO applications, like creating, if we created like a fake SSO application, which we could then, you know, distribute as phishing or something like that. It would probably be, would it be trusted? Not sure. All right, so let's go all the way back up here. So what can we use as persistence? It's kind of annoying me a bit. So you have access to Athena, Bedrock, Code Whisperer, Sagemaker Unified Studio MCP, Sagemaker itself. We have access to Scheduler. I wonder if we couldn't. What is Amazon Scheduler? AWS Scheduler. is a serverless service that enables you to create, run, or manage scheduled tasks. Oh, that sounds exciting. Amazon EventBridge is a serverless scheduler that allows you to create, run, and manage tasks from one central managed service. Isn't that what happened with Vercel? Yeah, well, I'm not sure exactly if it's like an SSO app that was designed to kind of exfil data, but I know they kind of popped a trusted SSO app and they kind of pivoted from the permissions of that SSO app. Sorry, I'm saying SSO app, but I'm not sure it's related to SSO at all. Let me look it up actually. For some breach. They probably just leveraged like the application credentials. That's what I was looking for. Blah blah blah. God, I hate those like meaningless postmortems. Here's what happened. Says absolutely nothing. The incident originated with the compromise of Context.ai, third-party AI tool used by Vercel employee. That's kind of interesting, right? A third-party app used by a Vercel employee. So this is kind of giving like shadow IT, where one person decided to like add an app to their workspace or whatever, and the tool got popped, and then they pivoted to the Vercel infrastructure. This just like screams shadow IT to me. The attacker used that access to take over the employee's individual Vercel Google Workspace account, which enabled them to gain access. The attacker used that access to take over, yeah. So the application most likely had like impersonation privileges, as many applications do. And they essentially just pivoted from there. We assess the attacker as highly sophisticated based on their in-depth understanding of Vercel's product API surface. That is interesting. But yeah, like if we think about like the drift breach that ended up impacting Salesforce, it's exactly the same thing that happened, where they pivoted from drift into Salesforce, dumped a bunch of shit, and kind of moved on. All right, so we have EventBridge schedule. I'm kind of curious as to what this looks like. So let's go and check the Terraform provider. EventBridge schedule. So we have. So this is going to be our schedule, but how do we define the thing that generates the event? Okay, so can it only send messages? Text or well-formed JSON pass to target, read more, universal target. Jesus Christ. So we are pretty limited. But we can invoke Lambda. Okay, so we can invoke some stuff. That's interesting. How could we potentially exfiltrate data from there? Let's go and take a look at the Sagemaker Terraform provider. Alright, so we can define the container. We can define the IAM policy document. Is that it? Okay, so we can create some apps, which is interesting. And what do we have access within SageMaker? So we have allow on SageMaker star, which is interesting because maybe what we can do is create a SageMaker app. So what I'm thinking about is doing something. So let's scrap, let's keep that, and let's do another box here, which is called, let's put it in orange, SageMaker backdoor app. So what I'm wondering if we can potentially do, and then let's just create our scheduler. Scheduler. So what I'm wondering if we could potentially do is start from our current session, and then we could create a scheduler and then a backdoor app. So something like this, where we would start by creating this. We would then proceed at creating this. Once we have actually created this, what we could do is go ahead and pass the role like this onto our malicious app. This is going to look like absolute dog shit. So we will, we will pass this role to this bad boy. And then the event bridge scheduler at a given interval will trigger our malicious backdoor app, which has access to the SageMaker Studio IAM permissive execution policy. Does that kind of make sense? So we start by creating our malicious app, and then what we will do is pass this specific, well, yeah, it's gonna have to be a custom role that we created. So let's do like whatever, backdoor role. So we will pass the backdoor role, which contains the policy, to our SageMaker backdoor app, and then say every hour or so, our event bridge scheduler will trigger our SageMaker app. I feel like depending on how SageMaker apps work, maybe we could leverage that. Let's look at what other things SageMaker provides us. Let's look at the app first. So, provides the SageMaker AI app resource. What is SageMaker AI app? This is partner AI app. Let's look at this one. Bruh. What is SageMaker AI app? I just want to understand it. With Amazon SageMaker AI apps, users get access to generative AI and machine learning development applications, blah blah blah. What does that look like? End-to-end model evaluation, kind of don't care. Blah blah blah. I kind of wish we were able to like create just jobs defined as code or something like that. So maybe apps isn't what we're looking for. I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's definitely not what we're looking for. What else do we have? That's kind of a bummer. So we can create an instance. And can we... that could be interesting. What if we had the backdoor like create an instance on every run and just deletes it afterwards? That would be like pretty noisy, but it's still something interesting. What else do we have access to? We have access to Redshift. We have access to Glue. Let's go and take a look at what we can do with Amazon Glue. So if you guys aren't quite following, essentially we can establish persistence with an AWS account, but the kind of missing link is this right here. So the actual application which will be doing the like malicious shit. Let's go and look at what AWS Glue can do for us. So it runs ETL workflows, okay. AWS batch, interesting. Better batch jobs that require specialized persistent infrastructure rather than serverless Spark. Okay, no, that's just alternatives. Let's look at Glue. What does Glue look like? Okay, so we can run AWS Glue scripts that are defined in Python. And what does the Python script look like? Let's go and check. Oops. Oh, bruh. I'm just fucking ruining my search history. Glue abuse. And automatically I just get like get help with substance abuse. Great. That is not what I was expecting, but I'll take it. Let's maybe specify like cybersecurity. That's interesting. Okay. Whoa. Okay, the bug in AWS Glue could allow an attacker using the service to create resources and access data of other AWS. Ooh, Jesus Christ. That is not great. Let's do AWS Glue custom Python script. Providing your own custom script. Create a new script to boilerplate code, upload an existing blah blah blah. How can I do that? I feel like we have something potentially interesting, but what the fuck is a DAG edge and a node? I just want to run some fucking Python script. Like all of this makes okay for directed acyclic graph. Jeez. Do any of you guys know what the directed acyclic graph is? Okay, now this is getting interesting. So we can create an ETL job with a given role, a Glue version, all of that stuff, the worker type, and we can give it a script location with a given name, a Python version. This can be interesting. So we would have something like this. So in theory, we should be able to create an AWS Glue job that will then inherit the policy which we have access to, and then through the event bridge scheduler we could be able to trigger that job potentially. Maybe we don't even have to trigger it. Let's check, how do we trigger glue jobs? How do they get triggered? Okay, let's go and fuck around in there. So let's get back to right here. Let's do AWS glue. This is getting kind of interesting. Prepare an account for AWS glue. Sure, buddy. Guess we can even try it with. So we're gonna have to create our role first. So let's just go here. Let's. So is it gonna be like I am? Let's do create role 3 and attach policy. Yeah, so that's fine. Can just be lazy here and create like a allow principal everyone and then just do STSSM role. That should work. So we go and create that role, but we don't. We want to attach a policy. Attach existing policy. Okay, so this is where we do it. Okay, so I guess we could try and do that. So let's get going. So let's do our IAM client. We will want to create our trust policy, which is going to be a bit jankier than what Google proposes. So let's do version 2012, 1017. Let's create our statement. We will test the theory here at the same time. So we have this. Let's do effect. Let's do principal. Can we just be lazy and do that? And let's do action. Sweet, so we should have everything here. Let's do role name. And let's go check which roles we could create. Wasn't it like create role? As long as it, so it needs to be a service role, which is fine. And that starts with Amazon Sagemaker. Okay, let's look in the doc afterwards. How we can specify a service role over. So let's do Amazon SageMaker malicious. Let's do create role response. IAM.create role. And we'll have our role name. Oops. Role name is going to be this. What's the issue here? Undefined. We have our assume role policy document json.dumps trust policy. We have our description. malicious Sagemaker role. And then let's just go and check the IAM create role documentation. How can I specify if it's a service? Okay, let's try creating that and we'll see. So we should be able to do that in theory. Error occurred, access denied. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay, because we're hold on resources. Okay, so it is just trying to create a normal role. So do I just have to do like the stupid like that? Is it gonna be that simple? Oh yeah, invalid character, okay. How do I make it be a service role? Ooh, okay, so we need to use create service linked role. So let's try that instead. Create service linked role. Are the parameters going to be the same? Probably not. Missing required parameter input AWS service name and unknown. Okay, so it's going to be AWS service name. Let's try that. Unknown. Okay, so let's go and check the documentation for this one. Description. Okay, so we don't even have to give it a trust policy suite. This actually saves me some hassle. Let's try this. I guess our name is still bad. We will get there, chat. We will get there. Access denied. Interesting. Is not a valid AWS service name. Ah, fuck. That's kind of annoying. Let's fall back to trusty old ChatGPT. Ooh, okay, so we have to define the service, the like path as being service role. Interesting. Okay, so let's try doing that instead. So let's get back to all of this bullshit. Let's do remove this. Let's do path equals this. Comma there. Is this going to work? Near occurred malform policy document when calling create role operation, blah blah blah. That's fine. We can just fix this one. So let's do principal. Let's do service. Can probably get off with something like that. Invalid principle and policy. Come on, I so don't want to be fighting this. So we said it is going to be Sagemaker, so we should be able to just stick the Sagemaker in there. Hell yeah, okay. So we now have a malicious role. Let's go and look at our role here. And we see a new role. We have Amazon SageMaker Malicious, which does not have any policies attached, which is perfectly fine. So what we want to do now that our role is created is go and attach a policy document on it. So let's go and do IAM-client.attach role policy. And what does it want? A role name, a policy RN. That's simple. So let's do role name equal to role name. And then our policy ARN is going to equal attach policy. It's going to be, let's do permissive. Let's just go and fetch the proper ARN just to make sure. Oh. There we go. This one. Let's go back here. So we should be able to attach this to that. Sweet. So this worked. I'm not. Oh fuck! I'm not printing the right thing. Let's view response. And let's run this. Sweet, we got the 200. So if we go and get back to our malicious role, should have the policy attached to it. It does not. Why does it not? Oh, okay, now we do. Sweet. So we have SageMaker Studio User IAM permission. And what do we have in there? We have access to more stuff, which is sweet. Do we have access to S3 anymore? Bummer. Okay, what other role? Let's go and check S3. Let's check the default execution policy one. Do we have something a bit more exciting in there? Oh, there's a second page. Stupid ass. Okay, so we have. Okay, so this one kind of sucks. But the other one, permissive execution policy. Full access on S3. Okay, so this is exactly the one we want. Sweet. Excellent. So now we have confirmed we can create a malicious IAM role through SageMaker, which is good. Now what we would want to do is start fucking around with AWS Glue. So let's go check Glue. And yeah, I will have to update this. Just realized we don't want SageMaker to impersonate it, we want Glue to be able to impersonate it. So let's just mute this. Let's bring this back. Yeah, don't really exist. So can I like how do I update the role policy document? Yeah, let's just go and modify it manually for now. Sweet. So now we can go back into this. Let's do this. Choose role. Let's do Sagemaker malicious. Selected users. We don't need any users for now. Targeted user has 3 locations. I think we should be good as is. Choose a default AWS. Let's create a default one. Sweet. Alright, so we now have access to Glue, and let's check how we could leverage jobs. Let's try to the script editor about that. Python shell. Okay, so we have our shell. Let's do import Bato 3. Is that even going to work? Hello. Can I not run it? Do I have to like save it? Let's do interesting malicious glue. Sweet, let's try to run it. Blah, 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 sure. So it sure as shit isn't the fastest service out there. Okay, so we have this one. We do not have any logs, so let's check AWS glue log Python script. Okay, so we just gotta let's try this one just because it's native. Oh, it failed. What happened? No module. Oh, fuck. Screw you, Google. So let's try the stupid approach. Maybe this is going to work better. Kind of feel like I'm gonna wake up and have like the fattest fucking bill for AWS for trying all these services. What's it looking like? Failed again. Jesus Christ. Come on, buddy. Oh, did I not save it? Yes, Nabi, exactly. As long as Bossman pays, concurrent runs exceeded. Bruh. What do you mean, concurrent runs? How do I, like, not have it concurrent? How do I just kill it? Okay, so you have one that's running now. Hopefully this one works. Sweet. Do we have any logs whatsoever? Come on, buddy. Just give me something. Why do we have no logs? I just want some logs. Why wasn't this working? Is it because it's not running in Spark? Come on now. Maybe we should just switch to... Okay, so let's kill this job. Whoa, that is so not what I wanted. It's kind of cool though. So we can create just like jobs through... Ooh, that's kind of sweet. Let's do script editor, let's do Spark. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's already providing us more context. So let's do this. We should be able to save it. Malicious job testing. Let's do save. Let's try running it. Maybe it's going to be a bit faster. F5. Ooh. Oh. Did I accidentally like pick Java as the language? Because that shit looks like Java, eh? No, I have Python. Okay, so I guess it's just the logs, the way they work. So it says succeeded. Do we have our info message? Okay, so that's the driver logs. I guess that's not exactly what I want to. Oh, Jesus Christ, which one is it? Let's try this one. Oh, come on, broski. Dude, I just want to read my fucking logs. How complicated do they have to make it? Dude, learn. Oh, okay, sweet. Okay, so we have it here. Okay, excellent. So this all ends up in CloudWatch. Can I go back? So let's go here. So let's start by doing history dump test. Let's actually let's do import 3 and let's do STS client. Client. Yeah, let's just try that and see what we come up with. Oh shit, forgot to save. Let's just wait for it to stop. How's everyone doing? Everyone hanging in there? Sweet. Why is it so fucking long to stop? Okay, stop. Sweet. So let's go back here. Let's just save it out of good measure. Let's run it. Dude! The fucking job is done. Leave me alone. Okay, thank God. So let's go and check this. Let's do Let's let it complete. Okay, so it's shutting down. Did we get some form of an error? Should be this one, I guess. And we see S3 anywhere in there. Okay, so we do have our dump right here. It's going to be somewhere in there. scroll through all of it. Okay, sweet. So we are running as AWS Glue service role through job runner session. Alright, so now we have to go and check if we can't assume the role. So how are we going to assume role within this context, right? So we will have to create a S3 client, but let's just check. How does that work? So we have to emit a client assume role. Okay, so we do this. We define our target role. We fetch the credentials and then we pass it along to another client. Okay, so we can make this work. And let's take this. Let's take this. And let's slide this here. So we have. Hold on, let me just be a bit smart about this. This worked. Let's do maliciously hijacked role, and then let's get our ARN. Do IAM. We have this bad boy. So this should work. So now we have our S3 client, meaning that we should be able to do something like S3 client dot get object. Let's do list objects first. List. Let's do a list buckets. Why not? Let's just make sure I am invoking it correctly. Bucket, blah blah blah, that's good, so we can just call it as is. Let's do this, let's store the response. Let's do maybe max 5 buckets. How about that? Fuck, where did I have the documentation again? Me fighting with tabs is the thing that will end up killing me. Okay, right here. Let's do max buckets 5. And then let's log our response right here. Let's just go into so. Alright, so let's nuke this one. So we create our context for our logging. We fetch our current STS session. We assume the role that we created, the malicious one. We get our temporary credentials. We then create a new client with those credentials, and then we list the buckets, and then we log that response. I think that should work, so let's save it. Let's run it. If that works, we have some pretty good persistence into a system. Well, into a cloud environment. At the very least, we have a good primitive for cloud persistence. Let's go and look at the logs once again. Where are our S3 logs hiding? Let's just load everything. Where are you? Where are you? S3 dump test. Did I miselect the other one? Or am I low-key stupid? And was I just pointing it once? Oops. Hold on. What's our script looking like? No, okay, so we have the first one, last one. It should be somewhere in there. Ooh, interesting. So we've hit an error. Access denied when calling the assume role operation. Ooh. Okay, so what is it? Fuck, that's kind of annoying. What would the policy have to look like? Because as of right now, our trust policy was... Ooh, fuck is that? Ooh. Okay, that's interesting. Let's check our trust relationship. So is that not right? Let's ask our trustee all ChatGPT. So I created a role with this trust policy. But when I run the following blue job, I get an access denied. Why is that, buddy boy? Why is that? Ooh. Both sides must allow it. The glue job execution role policy must allow us to assume role on target role. And there's glue. Fuck. Yeah, so we'd have to modify the glue execution role, which is low-key annoying. Where execution role should be... Hold on. Oh, so I could just attach, or... What the fuck? I can just directly attach Amazon SageMaker admin IAM execution role? Ooh, that is much worse than I thought. Well, it's much better for us, I guess. Ooh, that is fucking nasty. So we don't even have to assume role, we just gotta attach the right role from the get-go and we should be like good to go essentially. So let's just do S3. So it should be that simple. Yeah, fuck it, we bought. I'm gonna have to analyze why exactly, like, do all jobs just have access to SageMaker admin IAM execution role? Like, what the fuck is going on there? That is stressing me out. S3 dump test. Sweet. Okay. So we can just straight up assume stuff. What the fuck is going on? Hold up. Let's go back to glue. Let's go back to getting started. Set up role and users. They're like a straight up exclusive service role. Just want to see why exactly it like got it. No additional permissions. We only have one role listed, which is fine. Update the standard AWS exclusive service role, which is fine. So let's go and look at our ETL jobs. Let's new this one. Oh, and Lou even has like scheduling built in, so we won't even have to. Ooh, this is getting like easier and easier. Let's just go back. This is not what I wanted. Let's do script editor. Let's do Spark, start fresh. Let's see our job details. So which roles can we select now? Why does it have access to that? Okay, let's go into IAM.
This is Elisa Guzman, KCAL9, reporting live on the first day of the MERS campaign for president.
Man, I'm fucking confused. Hold on. There's gotta be something. Security configurations. No. Let's see what our trusty friend ChatGPT has to say, because I'm fucking stumped. I don't understand, like, how they end up there, right? Because I do remember assigning the malicious role we created, and then the glue service one is kind of fine. I expect to be there. But how did the full admin end up there? That's what's stumping me. Search for 3 role names you see in glue. Oh, did they get like added? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Maybe it's like a trust policy thing. Oh, is it because it has like? Oh, that's so interesting. So if I go into our malicious one, this one only has Sagemaker listed. Yeah, how did it end up there? Something doesn't make sense. Oh, stupid motherfucker. I still had the cached version on my browser. Oh, I'm so fucking dumb. Can't believe I lost all this time on this. Oh my god. Let's go and recheck the job details. Hey, surprise, surprise, it's no longer there. Jesus, I am not the smartest man alive. Okay, and let's go and check why the admin one is able to be executed. Admin. Did I change it? Okay. Okay, so out of the box, Glue can assume Amazon SageMaker admin IAM execution role. Ugh, not a fan of that. Okay, so we definitely have a primitive for like cloud persistence. So if we go back to our Excalibur board here, so this we don't even need. We now know that AWS glue jobs have scheduling built in. We don't even need to attach anything. Just out of the box and can assume the SageMaker admin role. So literally all we have to do is from SageMaker create an AWS glue job, set it, set the schedule for it, and it's just going to run Python periodically without, arguably anyone knowing. Now hopefully the job creation will leave a management event. I guess this could be like the kind of savior here. But that is interesting as a kind of way to just get like a cron job essentially from SageMaker. So I think this makes sense. We definitely have something we can work on moving on. So I think I will call it a night based on that, just because I'm getting a bit tired of my day's work. I think I'll keep working on this in another stream at another time. I have an idea of making a cloud obfuscation framework that we can build off of this, a cloud log obfuscation framework. So at least we have like one pretty solid primitive right here. So cool. So I will leave you guys to it on this note. Hopefully you learn a few things on the stream. I sure had fun doing so. So I will see you guys very, very soon. And thanks a bunch for showing up for today's stream. I really appreciate it. So see you guys soon. Have a good one.